movie.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate, All My Feelings. How are you, sir?
Evening, buddy.
I worried the chat, the private chat a little bit. Don't worry, it's all fine. It's all good.
There's no rockets red glare over there.
We are slightly being bombed, just not here. So
Oh,
we're all
right.
good. What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you, go watch a movie. You watch it, come back to us, and we break it down and we nerd out on it and geek all over its face, neck, and chest. This week,
It's gotta make it weird.
all the messages.
Always.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, we're fine. This week we asked
Meffy, are you okay? Are you okay, Meffy?
Yes, we are. Last week we asked you to go and watch a great movie by not Matt Groening but Mike Judge called Office Space. And
That's an old podcast joke
old.
because yeah.
Anyway,
Straight
Who
away
do
with
you
the
think-
in-jokes. Brilliant.
Who did you think made Idiocracy again, Meth?
it's the great and powerful Matt Groening.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It was a bit of a blunder, but I'll take it on the chin because that's who I am. Anyway, Office Space, 1999, one of the greatest years in movie history. And this movie as well. How many times you managed to watch it this week, Feelings?
Oh, just twice because I've seen it countless times.
Nice. I've seen it once yesterday because, again, I've seen it many times in the past. I got a little bit of a different feeling this time. I don't know what it is. Fisty.
You know, I watched it
Wait a
once
minute,
this week.
Wait, hold. Let's do full introductions. First of all, we've got a couple of guests here, of course, obviously. One of them is lilfisticuffer coming back again. How are you doing, sir?
Doing lovely. I think this is third time's the charm here. So hopefully I'll be able to nail the games today, and I'll know all the movie titles. But happy to be back.
Great. And we've got Jay Harangue, not harangue you, but harangue coming in
you.
first time around. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Very pleased to be on. Thank you very much for having me.
Great. Me and Jay have been guesting on another podcast. That's where we met. And I happily brought him on because he's been like rewatching a lot of our old podcasts and enjoying them for some reason. I don't know what
I
it
have.
is.
It's good fun. It's fun. I like the ones where you guys obviously like the film you can really tell that you like the film. And a lot of the bits that you find funny, I find funny. Because it's very difficult. And usually you meet people and you go, do you like this movie? And they go, yeah, what about the bit where meh, 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 and it's rubbish? And you have to go, yeah, that bit. But you guys pick out the good bits.
See, those are good, but I think it's better when one of them loves it and one of them hates it. Those are the episodes that I live for, and it doesn't matter who's who.
Yeah.
Well, we're planning on a few of them next year.
Some are going to come up, just like Father's Day. Oh, remember Father's Day?
Can never forget.
Movie. Anyway, I'll probably be inflicted with yet another trauma film, but boobies, so I'm good.
Most likely.
Most likely. So, Office Space, 1999. Mike Judge coming in hot with King of the Hill at the time, right?
We'll get to that during Behind the Screens.
I'm ruining everything today. I'm all sorts of being bombed. So let's start with the great and powerful Behind the Screens.
Action, take 2.
Feelings, can you please get me my stapler because I am all out of sorts.
I'm sorry. I swear, if you move one more time, I'm going to burn this place to the ground.
Behind the Scenes is your return to All My Feelings. Get the lowdown on everything behind the scenes. Please take it away, sir.
What's great is this was actually completely originally based off of the Milton shorts that Mike Judge created, not only for a little show called Liquid Television that was on MTV way many years ago, but also for Saturday Night Live. It was shown on several episodes of Saturday Night Live. One other bit that Mike Judge had at the time on Liquid Television that became a big hit for him was the original appearance of Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that all came from Liquid Television. The initial inspiration behind the concept of it was Judge hated his job working so much as a temp when he was a software engineer. He was filing things alphabetically and found the job so utterly monotonous that, like, all I want to do is sit back and do nothing. And he had one person that he was working with who was obviously the inspiration for Milton, who threatened to quit because they kept moving his desk.
Nice.
Now, at the time, after Beavis and Butthead were hits, Mike Judge actually was working with the head of 20th Century Fox at the time to actually work on an entire film that was based solely off Milton. Like the head of 20th Century Fox at the time wanted just a Milton film. Judge actually had to convince him to make it an ensemble cast because, like, there's no way I can make a Milton movie. No one would want to see a full 90-minute Milton movie.
I'm with Judge.
Yeah.
Moments there where I'm like, a full on? No.
Yeah. So the character of Lawrence, the neighbor, was actually based off of one of Judge's former neighbors.
Okay.
Who was a car mechanic.
Okay.
Judge working as a temp, then as an engineer. Yes, he was a software engineer. Hated his job so much, but his neighbor was a blue-collar guy who was happy with his life. Just like Lawrence.
So familiar.
Here, I know, right? So,
the
Fox
saying
president,
goes right what you know.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Fucking A. So the head of 20th Century Fox at the time was again a really big fan of this stuff. This is Tom Rothman. He actually was the only one who was a big advocate of the project when it was first released, and he actually read just a treatment of it the same time that he read the first initial scripts of King of the Hill. They were casting simultaneously.
Oh, cool.
Really?
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So Dave Herman was actually, who plays Michael Bolton, had known Mike Judge before, and he was actually currently working on a show called Mad TV. Remember, Fisty?
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what he did was So funny. Judge convinced him because he was the only one he wanted to play Michael. And he said, hey, you know what? Worst case scenario, if we don't get the financial backing in order to make the film work, I can get you a voice acting gig on King of the Hill. Right?
Nice.
So David Herman got himself fired off of Mad TV in order to play Michael Bolton.
Okay.
You know how he got himself fired?
Okay. Let me know.
Constantly screaming obscenities during rehearsals.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
to say solid way to go. Like it's relatively painless. All you have to do is fuck. And other words repeatedly. Yeah, easy. 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Best way to get yourself fired out of Hollywood.
Yep. Now, upon also reading for King of the Hill, it was Stephen Root, who plays Milton. He was doing voice acting for that, but Mike Judge asked him, hey, can you do just a line read for this character, for Milton? And Judge immediately fell in love with how his adaptation of the character. And he said, well, without Stephen Root, a lot of the heart of the film would be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stephen Root also got a really short in the stick later. We'll talk about that.
Oh no.
Now, on the other side of that, Fox, on the other hand, was like, no, you know what? There is no star power here. We can't back this. Fox wanted two big actors who just made their big independent debut film. One's name is Matt Damon.
Oh God. As the role
And
of
Ben
Peter.
Affleck, Good Will Hunting, had just been released.
So they wanted them as Peter and Michael Bolton.
No, they either wanted Matt Damon or Ben Affleck to play Peter.
Okay.
Ben Affleck was immediately out because he was already going to work with
I don't know.
someone
yeah.
you don't like anymore who wears giant hockey jerseys all the time.
Oh, he worked on Kevin Smith's Dogma.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
That-
like Kevin
well-
Smith because of reasons.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I know. We don't
I
like
don't like him
Smith
for
certain-
various reasons.
Yeah, he's kind of out there. But so the thing was, Judge actually just acquiesced to the studio's demands, met with Matt Damon, realized it wasn't going to work out. Ron Livingston's agent actually called in to get him just one audition. The casting director immediately loved him and cast.
Nice.
Matt Damon would have worked in that part, though. Do you reckon? Ben Affleck wouldn't, but I think Matt Damon would.
I think Matt Damon at that point in time could have worked because he
Yeah.
wasn't, too big for his britches,
Yeah.
as they say. Yet.
I guess that's a good point because I immediately thought I was like, no, neither of them would work for me. But everything that I've seen them and know them for, it is past that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess early in the career that makes more sense.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is
Sorry,
there
one
are
second. Ben Affleck's too good looking to be to be stranded in an office like that, whereas Matt Damon could still pass.
That's
Matt
fair,
Damon. If Matt Damon's not famous, he's in an office, isn't he? Ben Affleck's at least doing something good.
definitely a middle management type right there.
Yeah,
Just something
yeah,
like,
exactly, yeah.
I could see him like a lumberjack, like, well, so we're gonna have to check out your team. So-
Yeah.
The other characters, Artie Lang, which I don't know if you guys know who Artie Lang is. He was also part of Mad TV way back in the day, but he had also been going for a role. He actually initially had auditioned for Milton, which would not work because if you ever see Artie Lang's comedy, it's like no. He's the guy who joked like, I'm the only guy who got fat while doing coke.
Impressive.
Piss off.
Yeah.
That's the next step up from weed Lamau humor, isn't it? Really?
Yes. So what's funny is Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson actually both auditioned for the role of Lawrence, the neighbor.
Right. Vince Vaughn would have worked with the the moustache and the
Oh,
hair.
Vince Vaughn, because this is right after Swingers.
Yeah.
You can see him go right into that role, just very easily. Also, Kate Hudson was actually initially considered for the role of Joanna.
Okay.
Because this was before she was in anything big.
This was before Almost Famous.
Yes.
Was
Right
it? When was,
before it.
when was Almost Famous?
Because it was 1989. It was released the same year, but it was after this.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. What's also really great about it too is Jennifer Aniston signed on due to the fact that she wanted to take this role because it was completely out of everything else she was being offered at the time, because she was really big because of Friends.
Yeah.
And this was really funny. Is Aniston and David Herman, who plays Michael Bolton, they went to the same high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same age or not?
No, just several years apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Way younger than him, right?
Yeah. But what's also really interesting is the fact that due to so many scheduling conflicts, she had to film all of her scenes in 2 weeks because of Friends.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And she probably got the big fat I'm a big actress bonus too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What's interesting also is, John C. McGinley, who plays one of the Bobs. We all know John C. McGinley.
The Scrubs guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was actually supposed to play Lumbergh.
I can see
can't-
him do the Lumbergh. I can see him.
It's actually
Cole was great, but I can see McGinley as that.
I can't now. No way. That
Yeah.
I mean that is so good now. That Lumbergh is Gary Cole's Lumbergh is so good. I probably could if you had described the character to me previously and said, "Oh, do you reckon this guy would be good?" I'd say, "Yeah, that sounds good." But
Yeah.
after he's now that he's got his lines in and stuff, I mean, it's so good. I can't see anyone else
No,
doing it.
and
no,
that
I
was
agree it's
when-
better.
Yeah,
But
Gary
yeah, I was gonna
Cole-
say
Yeah,
Yes,
when Gary Cole
so-
actually came in and did his first line read, they went, "No, he's Lumbergh. He's Lumbergh."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
feelings.
So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask you
Very
to come
good.
in
I was
on
hoping-
Saturday.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Anything else? Or
So,
do you-
oh god, so much.
Yeah, I
Fox
know,
executives hated the dailies as the cast was perceived as too low energy. They wanted Ron Livingston to smile more. That was their big note that they kept giving back. It was like, no,
studio
that's
notes, right?
completely and like the thema of to Peter's character. He's supposed to be. He's miserable.
Yeah.
And one other thing they wanted to actually cut out completely was all of the gangster rap. They wanted to cut it all out.
I feel like that's one of the most important and like
is.
just on the nose perfect things about that movie is like I mean we'll get into the scenes as we're going through, but that's like the core of corporate nerdy white culture is like, no, I'm gonna go hard with my gangster rap and I'm gonna do whatever else, and then I'm gonna
exactly.
I got my TPS reports.
No,
You know,
and it was actually, it took several focus groups. And one of the most important quotes was, "No, I actually really I can empathize with them because I feel trapped like that and I want to kind of rebel. So it's kind of cool seeing this white guy who's really into rap, but he's really kind of timid about it." So they acquiesced and they just let him go with it. And also they got the songs were super cheap.
Yeah, I bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
It's just-
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they got Ghetto Boys, like Damn Feels Good to Be a Gangster, like dirt cheap.
I'm surprised. Maybe,
Yeah.
Look, maybe because it was made in 1999. That's sort of pre-Napster. After Napster and all the takeover of like choke holding the fucking all the sort of digital media and all the
Yeah.
other media, that you won't get that at a cheap price.
Yeah. One thing I would say that marketing for the film was so non-traditional, it was completely unheard of at the time. One of the big one was a promotion where they were basically setting up different areas where they would invite people via email and everything because it was it was the late 90s, so there was a big thing
It's the
where they would actually invite people to come out to destroy office equipment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't Mike Judge hated that, or he? I have
No,
it in my notes.
he hated the original the poster that had all the
Oh,
post-its
okay.
over it because like what is that supposed to be Big Bird? He hated that. He also hated the entire third act. He wanted to rewrite the entire ending like multiple times.
Really?
But these studio kept going like, no, we need a positive ending at the end of it.
Okay.
Because initially he's supposed to go to jail, and that's supposed to be the end of the movie.
Okay.
It's not supposed to be a happy ending.
I had another thing written down, but we'll when we get to the
Yeah.
end.
So the other big marketing was they had a full set that was set to a link where you could actually send emails and at the time, if you had the capability to send pictures of your bosses being shitty to you. Yeah.
All right.
The other thing is that, speaking of Mr. Root, he had it really rough playing Milton because the glasses were so thick. He had to wear contact lenses behind them in order to see anything at all.
Oh, that sounds rough on your eyes.
And he had no depth perception whatsoever.
I
So
mean-
he had to utilize the swing line red stapler in order to realize where he was moving his hand, in order to actually to focus his vision too.
To be fair, the only time you can actually see him walk anywhere is at the very, very end, through
where he's just-
like after the fire. Otherwise, he's just sitting at his desk.
I would
most
say
of
the
time.
only other scene we
And
do
then
see him is when he is when he goes to Lumberg's office right before.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
that's it
Right
though.
before the fire.
That is it.
right before the fire.
What's interesting too is the prop department had to okay everything by swing line before they made the prop stapler, because again, you can't make this shit up. Boston and Bostitch, two of like the office supply companies, turned down the offer to have their staplers included in the movie.
Why? Okay. Fine. So
I don't know.
it was just a prop that they just made, or not like
No,
store-bought?
they got it from there, and then after that was made, they had so many demands that Swingline had to make custom red staplers.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like the old invented brand out of anywhere. It's like the what's that brand everybody's using, but it's stupid. Come on, you know what?
Brand of what?
Supreme.
Supreme. That's
Supreme. Yeah.
fucking brand. It's everything is Supreme. It's like fuck you.
The other one too, just one last note, and we'll start in the movie. And I have way too many notes about this movie. I really do. Richard Ryle, who plays Tom, you know, our buddy who gets fired and he has the jump to conclusions, Matt. Yeah. His first day on set, he was in a full body cast. It was the scene where he's actually in the cast there. They didn't have anyone actually on set, any stunt coordinators or anything. So they actually had to bring an EMT in order to cut him out of the cast at the end of the day on his first day of shooting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Into the movie.
Into the Spider-Verse. No, not really. You know what? Let's do the first game of the day. All right? Because we've got so many different scenes, and we're probably going to have so many conversations. We'll start with our first game and maybe reset my brain. It is called Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of the movies, have their text written off. We display them, and our guests, and of course, the chat, will have to guess which movie this is. Jay has proven himself to me that he's strong and he's powerful. Recognize this.
I pinned him down. He had no say in the matter.
Him 7 months ago when I didn't know him at all, and it was random. Anyway, for you guys, chat participation is most welcome. Here we go.
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, correct.
Oh,
It's not.
that's a
quite.
woman's name, isn't it? No.
Yeah,
is it Sabrina. No. Is it Matilda or something like that?
Waltzing.
Matilda. Yeah.
It's not Matilda.
No, it's not. It's not.
Madeline or what?
Madeline.
It's
It
something
is
like
the
that.
name of the chick. It is a French film.
Amelie.
Amelie is
Oh.
correct.
I told you it's American Beauty. I told you not to put any foreign muck in it. And the second one is done. American Beauty, that one is. That's Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger is correct.
Oh, I don't know, Titan A or something.
Not
of
Titan A.
Something
No.
Revenge of Titan.
You should know, Fisty. I know you know this one.
Fisty should
Yeah,
have.
it's not.
Very
Oh wait,
classic.
is it? It's not Ghost in the Shell.
It
That looks
is.
like-
Is
it?
Ghost
It's in the shell.
Oh, it did not look
That's
like
Highlander.
Like, oh, yep.
Which one?
2.
Correct. The Quickening.
Good queening. This
Oh,
movie's really,
300.
really bad. No, it's not.
It is.
Yeah.
It is Henry Cavill.
Cavill. Although it is Greek technically.
Yeah.
It's got,
Really, really bad.
Yeah.
it's,
The third act is
someone's put it in the chat.
Paul's got it.
Yeah, good work.
Attaboy, Paul.
Immortals.
Immortals.
Who's that on the left? Is that 7? No, who's the one on the left?
Yeah,
seven.
seven.
Okay,
Correct.
and that is
Much easier to
down
be
there?
and say so.
What's that down there?
What is that down there?
Punch
It's
it.
Yeah.
somebody holding. Oh, I thought it looked like a
Right.
gun
That's
from
still
Halo.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
Is
that,
Angelina Jolie?
and I think I know who the other guy is, but I don't want to say just in case I've got it wrong.
Denzel
It's
Washington.
Denzel
Thank you.
Washington.
Okay, that's what I
was
thought.
good.
Yeah.
It's Denzel.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I know this one.
Really? All right. Chat.
Yeah,
There it
someone's
is.
got it.
Is
Paul
here
again.
to
get it?
help you.
The
Paul,
bone
our
collector.
lovely and special mod, is here to help you. It is, of course, the Bone Collector.
I just.
Pretty good movie too. Oh, it's a classic.
It's so classic. I've never seen it.
It is Paul Newman. It is Robert Redford.
It was Butch
And it
Cassidy.
has one of the most, let's say, recognizable themes ever. It is.
Right. No. he's
Movie
got it
title.
right. Go on, Paul.
It
Yeah,
is
got it.
The Sting. Really good movie.
The theme
I
title
thought that-
is The Sting.
Right. I thought that was Robert Redford and George Segal, but clearly not.
No, but yes.
That's another one.
All right, cool, awesome. Let's have that, this, that, and Les Movies. So, it starts off with a movie that we've covered recently. Kind of had the same theme to it, but not really the same result. I'm
Falling Down.
referring to
Yeah.
Falling Down. And this kind of starts with Peter in a scene that anyone who has worked at any office or gone to anywhere at 8:30 in the morning will probably recognize is just sitting in traffic.
Yep, this is what I get to look forward to at the beginning of the year again.
Nice.
So for me, the most frustrating part of the scene wasn't what was meant to be frustrating of the bumper to bumper traffic or the cutting, and getting into the lane to only for that lane to stop whatever else. What upset me the most was the pedal scenes, because he was so aggressive on the gas and brake, and I'm like, dude, just like letting off the brake. It's fine. Like it drove me insane. I'm like, you don't need to do this.
Sounds like a
Please.
gearhead to me. And also completely correct.
A quick aside too, what's really funny is they had to delay shooting this scene multiple days because you can
Because there
actually
was
still
no
see in the overcast because of fires outside of Austin.
Right.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. it was so cast over, and then it was too bright, so the scenes were completely washed out, or completely covered. So it's like, shit.
To me, the greatest part in all of this is not even the Milton part, is not the Samir part, is the David Herman part, where he is blasting.
Yeah.
Killer up inside of me.
And
Yeah, brilliant.
you know that if the camera wasn't there or it was appropriate enough, he would have definitely said the N-word as the N word is happening. But to me, it's sort of the back in the day subtle racism, not racism part, where he's just the white boy enjoying music, any music. But when a black guy comes in, he's like, oh, this is like inappropriate.
Oh no, the thing is,
Yeah.
no, he genuinely think like you have that interior part of your mind of like, no, I'm such a badass. When some of the
Yeah.
roll the window.
And to me, it was so telling because, dude, you enjoy this music. Enjoy this music. Why do you care if anybody else is like looking at you?
Yeah.
Like with a cross-eyed. Who cares? You enjoy the music. You enjoy it. Just fucking enjoy it.
There's that juxtaposition too, where Samir is just absolutely losing his shit just in his car, just and you have Milton just sitting there waiting for the bus, and then you have Lumberg pull in with his Porsche, which is odd because there was actually a cut scene from it, which Gary Cole actually requested they remove it, and Mike Judge agreed with him because there's supposed to be a scene where Lumberg actually gets his Porsche towed, and he actually becomes angry. But Gary Cole went, no. We have to keep Lumberg just steady on the level, just like almost like a flat line. Just So, yeah.
What's his license plate again? Is it something like my Porsche or?
It's my Porsche.
Yeah, my Porsche.
Okay.
That's right.
An abbreviation of my Porsche. It's like
He is that kind of really like real asshole that would have that license plate.
It's also like someone's like, oh, so what sort of personalized license plate do you want? My Porsche. It's like, I think, does it? Obviously, it's your Porsche.
I mean, to be fair, and we kind of mentioned Seinfeld at the backstage. You got to have the ass, man. It's so good. It's perfect.
You're the ass man.
You're having a 911 point. By the way, that model is a sweet model. It has a bad engine. Like it's bad.
Was that a 94 911?
It's an early model. It's a 93 or 92. The body is cool. The engine is fucking horrendous. It needs to go in service
yesterday.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
I wanted to say too is again like I know Fisty, you've worked in office before. Jay, I don't know if you
when I was younger,
have that kind of like again no when you have the receptionist going just a moment.
Yeah,
like,
oh god,
I'm getting like PTSD flashbacks. Like
that's something this film does really well. It's about like the opening scene where he's like getting in a mood. You find everything up to the first like 20 minutes are just happening over and over and over again, and it's that sort of level of tediousness that really gets to people that is going to finally make someone crack.
Again, also with the TPS reports, the constant re-explain, like, no, I understand. I know I'm gonna fix it. It's like, yeah, but if you could do that would be
Did you
great.
get the memo? Yeah.
It's funny because first time I watched this, I think I was probably 12 or 13 in a movie. Everyone thought it was hilarious, whatever else. I thought it was super funny. This is my first time watching it after a decade in the corporate world, and I was like, I'm angry. Like I'm laughing, but it gave me the same response as Silicon Valley, the HBO series.
Yeah.
After working in tech, where I heard the word moonshot in that show, I was like, oh, go fuck yourself. Like it's just they do that so well of just capturing that just essence of trash and just corporate.
Go ahead.
So
Jay.
as corporate people, is there such a thing? What is the TPS report? Do we know what it stands for? Is it just totally left there?
Now that's actually a great question because Mike Judge never revealed what the TPS reports actually were.
Right. This is one of those things. It's like office lingo that those people know that other people don't. It's like the most crucial thing ever, but no one knows what it is.
I don't work in the corporate world. I never have, but my wife has since forever. I've been listening to all of these abbreviations and all these stuff that I don't know. It's like, don't you understand? I've heard this so many times. It's like, don't you understand? I had to submit this fucking BLS report. It's like, what the fuck is a BLS report? Oh, it's the bomb exchange linguist or whatever. It's like, what the fuck is that? It's like, don't worry. I've got this handled. He's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen these abbreviations of these nonsense reports, and every single one is something to do with, I don't know, purchasing or fucking unloading a purchase or something. It's so fucking convoluted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every single corporation had their own like little subtle abbreviations, and they all mean the same thing.
Yeah,
It's nonsense. This is why I chop people down immediately as soon as people start talking about work. That's if it's my girlfriend, my ex-wife, any of my friends. As soon as anything's mentioned, I'm just like, stop it, because you know it's going to cut. That's going to cut. Sort of things going to come into it, and I'm just like, I don't want to hear it.
No.
Yeah, but
It depresses me.
what
So-
Mike Judge captured, and you mentioned this kind of things, those little things when you go into an office, and it doesn't really matter. Those little subtle things. It could be that secretary for you. It could be that guy who just keeps chit-chatting away at the other side of the table, whether or he's allowed to or not allowed to. That whole conversation that he has with Milton, with the radio.
Could you just turn it down as a person? Well, I was told I could listen to the radio.
Yeah, and
From I was told that if she could listen to with the headphones on, then when she files, then I could listen to my radio from 9 to 11.
Have you been practicing this all week? Because this is pretty good.
No, I've just seen this movie a lot.
It's good. It's
And
really
I've been
good.
in the corporate world for way too many years, so I know
Yeah,
people
no,
like
fair
this.
enough.
So.
I was gonna say that's just feelings when he disconnects from the Zoom call at the end of he's like, well, could you just submit the TPS report today?
and to me and it's not only those things, it's that the technology in the office, and I'm aiming for this particular thing, it's the copier, it's the thing.
Oh yeah, so somebody at the printer like
Calling it's
fucker. That's what I got. This piece of shit.
transfer it to today. It's the oh fucking the internet fell in the office. Who do I need to call? It's the IT guy, but he's away, or he's on vacation, or he's fucking whatever. He's doing something else. It's all about those little things. It's all about those little things that is just ticks you off for no good reason.
Yeah.
It's really first world problems. But at the office, when you're trying to do something, they bug you. And it's not just that one day, it's the accumulation of those little things that really gets you down and depressed. And then you go off to work drinking with your mates or your friends or whatever. And all that is in your head is, like Jay mentioned, it's like talking to people about your work, because that's the thing that bugs you all the time.
And how depressing are those little cabins as well? Like for 8 hours a day minimum. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, and remember, like, it's not like now. Remember back then, and this was the time when I used to work in an office like that. Nothing worked properly. Like the computers never worked. Like there was always a problem. Like you spend half an hour just like, oh, my mouse isn't working, so you had to open the ball and clean it, and it's disgusting, or your keyboard's disgusting, or the programs don't work. It was just everything. And the copier, I mean, the photocopier was being repaired, I think, for probably 80% of its entire lifespan. There's always a paper jam. Oh, yeah, it's hideous. And then add that on top of all this crap.
A toner that you can change, but if you do, it'll probably break in your hands and spill fucking
all the ink going all over you. Yeah,
all over you, or fucking black dust of death.
Yeah,
all over your whatever. Anyway, so Peter,
as a quick fun aside, this is also when also one of my other big fucking just triggers was when she comes out like, sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays. I will slap you in your fucking face.
Well, that's another one about the repetition thing. It's like the first time you hear it, you're like, oh my God, that's hideous. That makes me sick. But then it goes on, doesn't it? You hear it about 2 or 3 times, and it's just like, what?
I did also, just as an aside too, it was the first time that Michael Bolton's name was brought up. It's like, oh, like that one? It's like, no. This is when David Herman actually improvised the line, because originally it was supposed to be a no singing asshole, but Herman changed it to no telling ass clown.
yes.
And in 2018, ass clown was added to the Webster's Dictionary, attributed to this film.
And I love how they ask him, are you related to this? As if, like, if you were related to him, your name is more likely to be Michael Bolton.
Yes.
It's him. It's so good. Like, no, I'm not. And that's asked him a number of times in the film, isn't it? And what's it? Why don't you change? Why don't you just call yourself Mike? No, he's the one who sucks.
Exactly. It's like,
I mean, I respect it.
Why should I change it? He's the one who sucks.
Yeah, and plus he had the name first for 12 years. You know, he had a good 12 years with his name before Michael Bolton came along. So I think, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Fucking
of course
ass clown.
they do this is the first kind of inkling that something is gonna go off on Peter. He's taking them to lunch early.
Like, if you eat coffee, I gotta get out of here.
And the fact that David Herman's character is sitting there and he's not drinking the coffee.
This is what I hear about your TPS reports.
No, he's putting. That's the thing I notice. He's not drinking the coffee. He's just keep adding in sugar.
The sugars.
He adds 5 sugar packets to it.
I mean, I had to go back and see how many. I think it's 6, not 5.
Oh no, I love the line too.
I'm not seeing an issue.
No, I love the line too. Just as an aside, you know, the whole bits of flair where originally the manager stops. By the way, the manager, that's Mike Judge.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the manager at Chotsky's. That's actually Mike Judge.
Yeah, if you don't know how Mike Judge looked like, you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, because he has a fake
No.
wig and it's
but
okay.
You know who he is? Like, I forgot. And believe me, I forgot he was in this.
yeah.
And you know why I picked it up was actually him. I think he was on Rogan's show a few months back, and they kind of discussed Office Space. He didn't mention he was in there, but he aged really well. He kind of looks the same, but a bit younger, and with the wig and the mustache and everything. It's like, that's him, I think.
That's it. What's also really interesting about
the credits, it says Mike Judge. I think it says somebody.
No,
else.
it does. He's actually under a pseudonym. In the credits. Yeah.
But then I went out and checked for my research. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. What's interesting too is the fact that Fisty, you know, TGI Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
They actually made their wait staff stop using flair because of this movie.
Good. Fucking good. That's awesome. I love that for them.
They had them wearing that shit.
I didn't realize that was based on anything. I thought they made that stuff up.
Oh no!
That was another thing about the whole minimum. Why don't you change the minimum? Because that's another thing that happens with people, isn't it? They want people to want to do things that they don't want to do without just telling them. You know, it's crazy.
Well, but we want you to want to.
Yeah.
No.
Because I think Peter nails it perfectly later with his interview with the Bobs, where he goes, "You know what? I don't give it. I'm doing just the bare minimum not to get fired."
Correct.
That's most of corporate America.
Yeah. No, that's like that. That's my view is don't be the highest paid of the department. Don't be the worst performer. And just meet the bar. Like just meet the bar. Be in the middle.
Line.
Float under the radar.
The one thing, it's a little bit jumping forward, but I don't care. The one thing that they mentioned is something that I've read like years ago. They mentioned the fact that like 80% was not doing any work at all, or Peter mentions it. And first of all, it's the 20-80 rule, which is something that was in a book. But other than that, it was proven. They did a survey, I think it's back in 2011. 80% of the time for corporate America, people who go into these offices in the cubicles, 80% of the time, they are on Facebook. It's insane.
That but prior to that, they were at the water cooler. They were talking with their coworkers. They were doing whatever they can. Again, like he says, like I would say in a given week, I do about maybe 15 minutes of actual work. In a lot of corporate America, that's kind of categorically true.
Yeah, no, it's
and if that's the case, just imagine what it's like in a government department.
They're significantly worse.
You can slash that by it's gonna be 80% of 80% doing that.
See, I was gonna say the real winner is the private corporation that works with government contracts, because then you get to stack that on top.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I was gonna say this
government contracts, game on.
No. Yeah. I was gonna say one thing that I did love, just that one aside where again they both go, I have this feeling that she's cheating on me. Yeah, I could see that. What do you mean by that?
I don't know. It's just kind of a feeling.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say it's worse than I could see that. It's yeah, I get that feeling too,
Yeah.
which is so much more solidified. You're like,
it's
what the
not
fuck?
only Michael and Samir, but it's also Lawrence. Like, yeah, I get that.
The neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah,
She just seems like that kind of girl.
And to me, later on, he comes in and crushes it with like, yeah, it's like we kind of knew Joanna was sleeping around. It's like she wasn't sleeping around; she had other boyfriends.
Boyfriends beforehand, yeah. Well, the other one too, the one line that I love because I love this line so much that's brought up is like, well, no, I have shit to do this weekend. I can't hang out. I can't play poker with Michael and Samir because she's taking me to a hypnotherapist. Like
Yeah.
it really works. Like she lost a lot of weight. Peter, she's anorexic. I know he's really good.
Like I said,
The
hindsight
light's
is-
so great.
hindsight is great because at this viewing, I had the same feeling that I had at the previous viewing because I keep forgetting that the therapist is a big fat like slobbering guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I keep forgetting it because to me in my mind, before you see him, you kind of being set up to believe that he's the guy who's fucking her. And when you see the
Yeah.
hypnotherapist and you see the girl, I don't think that's happening, but they do imply it rather heavily.
A little bit, yeah.
But
He's the guy. I recognize that guy, the hypnotherapist, from a lot of stuff. I
Yes,
didn't check
yeah.
this out.
Yeah,
who it
yeah,
was.
he's-
I only recognize him as the professor from Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin. What else has he been in? Because I got him mixed up with a few other people. I got him mixed up with the guy who was like Albert Meinheimer in
That's
in Naked Gun
his
2.
name is Michael McShane. He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But like
In a lot of
a bit player that kind of like a Joey Pants. That you see him in countless things. You've seen him in things.
Yeah.
You don't really quite remember like who he is in those films.
Yeah.
But you're like,
one of those
I know him.
working actors that he can do a bit in a movie, but he can also be like a cameo in a TV show or something like that. I
Mhm.
think he was on Seinfeld. I know he was on Friends one time.
he was on Friends. He was really big in news radio.
He was in. He's been in so many different things, sitcoms and that sort of thing, and in bit parts in movies. Again, one of those actors that he's not getting like a major salary, but he's a working actor.
But he did show Lawrence there where Peter asked him like, so has anybody on the site asked you if you had a case the Mondays? No, man. I believe you get your ass kicked if you said something like that.
And to me, the neighbor part, I like the actor. I don't like
Dietrich
him in
Bader,
that
yeah.
role. It's Dietrich.
Bader.
I don't like him in that role. I don't know. That's the only part of the casting that didn't quite sit with me.
Okay, that's fair.
They probably could have gotten Larry the Cable Guy and got a much better result.
Well, that was before Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah,
was
but
Larry
it was
the Cable
before
Guy.
Larry the Cable
Yeah.
Guy. So
Is this the conversation they have?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. No, Jay,
Jay?
go ahead.
Is this the conversation they have when it's what would you do if you had $1 million?
$1 million. Like, what'd you
Yeah.
do, man? 2 chicks. Same time.
Two chicks at the same time.
Really?
So
That's what you do
what
with
is
$1
it?
million? And be like, yeah, kind of 2 chicks that do a guy like me. Yeah.
I think that
Brilliant.
I think they have that conversation after he comes back from the hypnotherapist. No,
it's after he gets more information on the.
This
the
is
scam, I
right
think.
before the hypnotherapist.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
This is their first
So-
conversation when he tells them how to avoid, or is that which is the second conversation where he tells them how to avoid coming in on the weekend?
This is
That's
the
the second
conversation
one.
where he tells them how to avoid like getting
Fine,
out
yeah.
the weekend
Okay,
to
yeah.
go fishing on the fishing trip
Yeah.
on Saturday. Yeah.
So the next couple of scenes, I'm just moving it a little bit forward. Is the fact that he sees the Bob, the guy who comes in to
The Bobs. Yeah.
to efficientize, to make everything more efficient. Meaning they're going to fire some people.
Yeah.
By the way, I never worked in corporate. I know those guys. everybody can tell it's those guys that come in and slash and burn. And of course, Peter's doing everything that he can to avoid his boss because he knows because of the slash and burn, he's going to have to work through the weekends. By the way, in my country, even though we're pretty hardworking, you can't do that. You can do overtime in the budget, but they will never work you Friday, Saturday. They cannot.
And it doesn't happen here either.
They can't. And they will not, because if they do, they can't tell you to work, but they'll have to pay 150% of your normal wage for that day.
Yeah.
And they would rather just coming in on a Sunday for us, but coming in on a Monday and just do those extra couple of hours. And they'll sit on your ass to do so.
See, Fisty, you and I in corporate America over here realize that, if you're a salaried employee, you're fucked.
Yep. No, that's great. Is not only do they ask you to work on the weekends or do whatever else, but you get no additional pay. Not even like your base, right? It's like
there's no
you
overtime at all.
Yeah.
No, you're salaried. Yeah, that's what you get. So do the work until the work's done. Sorry.
So
I told you what I do, Meph. It's a pain.
A lot of TPS reports.
A lot of TPS reports. So Peter tries to get away from his boss.
Now you just made me want to cry, Fisty. Stop it.
Tries to get away from his boss, but I'm gonna have you to work on a Friday and on a Saturday, and you know
we're gonna need you to be here around
work on us
9 o'clock.
So you go ahead and do that, and then as he walks off, he goes, "Oh
I was
get
gonna to come in on Sunday.
Get you to come in on Sunday, so that'd be great."
Yeah. Peter is already going through the weekend in a mindset that I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm already.
Then he has the conversation with the therapist, where he's just like, every day when you see me, that's the worst day of my life.
Exactly. And the hypnotherapist is like, "Oh, you're depressing me." It's like, what do you mean? You're supposed to help me.
It's like, is there something you can do to me so that I won't
just
sit through
zone
work,
out?
not
so
know I'm there. Yeah. Just take the pain away.
Still my favorite line of the therapist, though, is he's just like, "Oh, like that sucks," or something along those lines. It's just like, "Oh."
And of course, he starts him off with a therapy as he puts him into a trance. The guy keels over and die.
Yeah.
But as we can tell, Peter is a sort of we'll call it a nirvana state, I would say. Sort of like, he literally sent him to his happy place. And
found his bliss, and like he even wakes up with the alarm going off and goes,
"Yeah, fuck that." He literally he goes into this mind state of fuck it all, basically.
Hi, Peter. I didn't know if you realize it now, but no, we still started at the same time today. Yeah, hi, Bill here. Yeah, this isn't a half day, Peter.
Do you know what I'd love to do? Right, I'd love to clip this part of the movie with the answering machine messages. Then I'd like to leave one message on someone else's answer phone with just that, with all the messages coming out. So that when they listen to them, when they pick their phone up, they just go, "Yeah, hi, Bill Lumberg."
When he wakes up to play, like, "Yeah, hi, yeah."
They all start exactly. The tone doesn't change at all. It never goes, "Right, that's it. You're coming in."
Yeah.
It's just straight away. Beep. Yeah, hi, it's Bill Lumberg.
And to me, the fact that that scene where he gets annoyed because of they tow his Porsche out, that's why they cut it out, because
otherwise
keeping it even keel throughout the movie works for that particular character. Otherwise, it's just.
And what's actually really fantastic too is if you pay attention later when they have the bobs, when they turn the questions around on Lumberg, if you look at his picture and his face, he's wearing the same shirt and tie.
Amazing.
I'll find it. It's a little bit farther off.
Yeah.
And the good thing about when he's in bed is that you just know he just doesn't give a shit, and all those messages. Just
Yeah, the same thing
landed on
with
full of
Anne. It's like,
definite-
so what are you gonna do? I'm just not gonna go there anymore. And then he hangs. The way when he hangs up on Anne, Anne calls back like, I've been cheating on you.
Okay, I can't find it, but we'll switch because Peter has this whole spiel where he goes in, doesn't care, comes in with flip flops.
So, well, before the he just goes right in. And he's like, well, I wouldn't ask Joanna out. He just walks up and is like, hey, you know what? You want to get some lunch sometime? You know what? I'm gonna be at the restaurant across the street. If you want to join me, that's cool. Either way, whatever. Like, which one? Was it Chili's or Flingers?
Chili's or Flingers, yeah, that's right.
Yes, it was like Flingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do? I don't know. I just don't feel like going there anymore. I don't think I'm going to do it. What are you going to do about money? What are you going to do about paying bills? I don't think I'm going to do that either.
Yeah, I don't like doing that.
To me, it's the whole rubber meets the road part where it's like, okay, you can like say fuck it all at work and just not show up, or just come in and do whatever because nobody's going to fire you because it's so out of the norm.
Yeah.
Where people just don't know how to handle you. They can handle you if you say no, or you say like, I don't want to do it, or I'm not coming in, and fuck you and all that stuff. But if you're like so mellowed out and it's so far off from what you would expect of a normal human being to do, they just don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And
Which is so great too, because this is also juxtaposed with Tom freaking out during his interview with the Bobs. Like, no, I talked to the fucking customers.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where I was getting at. As sort of a juxtapose at the talk with the Bobs, it's Tom going completely apeshit. And then when Peter comes in, he is so mellowed out. He just had that conversation with Joanna at the restaurant, and you can tell she is immediately into it, that vibe, not specifically Peter, but sort of that vibe. And
you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to take you out to dinner. Then I'd like to go home and I'd like to watch some kung fu movies. Do you like kung fu movies?
I love kung fu movies.
See, but my favorite part about that is the implication that there is a channel that is just because he says just kung fu.
Just like
She's like,
kung fu.
I love kung fu. He's like channel 38.
It's like
I
love
thought it
kung
was a
fu.
series. I thought it was a series called Kung Fu. That's why.
Oh no, this is kung fu films. That
Is that what it is? Right.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, he's basically just like, I want to go watch horror.
No, it wasn't David
Like-
Carradine's Kung Fu from
That's
the
right,
series
yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day.
Yeah. Well, obviously it was back in the day.
I
Oh.
was
Not
say
now,
this
is it?
before Rule 34, but if they could have said Channel 34,
Four.
that would have been, that would have been great.
Little Chef's Kiss.
Uh,
Well, actually, would have been better if it was Lawrence on the back go like, "Hey, Peter, check out Channel 34 for the breast exams."
yeah,
Real quick thing too. This I was gonna comment on it earlier in the scene with the neighbor, because in the background there were just some binders up above the fridge that just said opportunity guide in like just generic black text in a white binder. But if you look at the background of the scene, that whiteboard with the
Yes.
planning to plan
Planning to
and
plan,
the dumbest, most convoluted shit ever. They do such a good job of hiding this in every single scene, basically. Like there's D-base programming textbooks, or there's the planning to plan whiteboard, or the opportunity guide. Like, just if you keep your eyes on it, no matter where we stop, if it's somehow involved in the corporate environment or somebody's home, it's always there. It's
corporate
always,
bullshit.
it's ever present.
Fantastic.
Wall-to-wall business art.
Yeah.
and if you notice, one of the things that Peter does is take down that sign. Is sort of like that.
After
is-
he had the
it
Bobs were
comes later,
introduced.
but
Yeah. Mhm.
Well,
he's
what's the
rebelling
sign say?
against- I don't remember.
The thing is, what can you do for Innertech or
In
something?
attack.
Is it good for the company?
It's
That's
good for
right.
the
Yeah. That's it, yeah.
And to me, this is Peter's moment to rebel against those things like that whiteboard. And yeah, I've put this specific scene on because of that whiteboard, because it popped into me immediately. It's that planning to plan. And it kind of looks like something you used to do before you started coding stuff. It's different methods of coding, but you did that on a sketchbook, and then you started coding because it kind of helps you with the sort of yes, no, if, then kind of options. But this thing is all over the place on purpose for you to like, oh, what the fuck does it say? Wait, that doesn't make sense. It's literally like Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the fucking
Pepe Sylvia.
with the fucking lines going everywhere, and you're like going crazy. It's exactly that.
I mean, this scene's brilliant because you really do get the feeling that there is no worst case scenario coming out of that meeting. Like, that's it. And it can only get better.
Yeah.
And
Like,
to
What
me,
if we were to offer you some kind of stock option?
He's decided already that he's free, and that's it. And there's nothing anyone can do. And you actually really get that feeling watching this movie, which is brilliant.
And what's great too is
wait.
oddly enough, it's a brilliant negotiating tactic, because if you act with utter disdain, you hold all of the leverage.
Of course,
not only being laid back and happy and free, it's being confident in what you're doing. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's like it's the confidence of him sitting laid back. He doesn't care. He grabs his own water. He doesn't accept water from somebody else.
Yeah.
He's moving the conversation forward. He's answering their questions, but he's coming back with extra things that they did not expect. And the fact that the Bobs didn't expect that kind of puts them above everybody else. That's why they're lifting him.
Well, all I got to say is about Peter. He is just a real straight shooter right there, who's got middle management written all over him.
Yeah, because there's an air of authority about him, isn't there? Because he doesn't care. So
doesn't care.
Brilliant.
And when
all I got to say is also this Milton person, apparently he was laid off 5 years ago, but according to the glitch system, he's still receiving a paycheck. Well, we just went ahead and fixed the glitch. So he was let go. Well, we didn't actually fire him. We just fixed the glitch. We just tend to think that it'll work itself out.
Yeah.
What they expect is him to leave, but they forgot he's on the spectrum. So,
and he's also just Lumberg's punching bag. So when Peter just brushes him off, he goes right to Milton, like, so we're gonna have to move your desk, I guess. When he takes the stapler, they're like,
when he grabs the stapler, it's just snatching it. It's like really nasty. It's spiteful. That's the most spiteful you see him.
That's where they moved my desk again. Did my stapler, and I'm going to set the building on fire.
And if you notice, he is on his way to fucking flame that place. But they don't tell you who does it. They kind of imply that it's him. Also, they kind of implied that he stole all those checks, but okay.
Well, yeah, he did, because he went on vacation.
Lied.
Which, oddly enough, given the fact that this is still in the age where there would be a backup somewhere, which is one thing I wanted to bring up to you, Fist, because you work in tech so much too. Like, they knew who put the virus in. There's gonna be a log of that somewhere. So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the thing is also like, there very well might not. Like, it's just, there's so many chances and there's so many times where people just don't. Like, how do you not have this? Like, how do you not have something so simple set up? So it's a 50-50, honestly.
In the pre-cloud days, there used to be like, I seem to remember like big servers in the basement where I assume the backups were kept. So I suppose it's quite plausible that that could have gone up as well.
Also, they kind of stole that from hackers. They mention hackers.
And Superman 3.
And Superman 3. It's so far-fetched. But yes, it does also happen in Superman 3.
We're taking, you go to 7-Eleven, we're taking the pennies away. You mean from the disabled kids? No, the take a penny, leave a penny trade.
It's like case in point. There was a person for years who was just sending fake invoices to all of the major tech companies like Google and Apple, and Microsoft, stuff like that. And they were just sending invoices and having them paid, and like they would just have some generic thing on it for like, oh no, you guys owe me $20,000 for consulting or whatever else. And they would just pay him, and he was just right. Like, it's corporations will either be watching it like a hawk or just completely miss it.
Yeah.
Easier to pay him off to go.
I assume we fucked up somewhere. So just
I watched before watching the movie. I watched a YouTube video about a true crime about this lady who during the 80s and 90s sat at this sort of town hall. She was the treasurer or equivalent of the treasurer of a town hall of this town in Michigan somewhere, and she just
it's Michigan. Yeah. They're
set
awful
up-
people.
she set up this account that was on her name, but it was like sewage, something to do with the sewage, and she kept transferring funds there. The town was falling apart, and she magically started this, horse farm and got into breeding, and it looks like she was making a lot of money, but nobody knew where the money is coming from. She stole throughout like 20 years or 19 years that she was there, $54 million
Wow.
from municipal funds for her.
So 108 chicks at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Good math.
and all because
That's what we call UK education.
yeah. And all because she was sitting on the tap and nobody knew what was going on because she was trustworthy, so nobody was looking at it. But yeah, you can either have the company that is like a hawk or it just goes away. And yeah, if you put in some stuff and if it's a big bank or a big company, then yeah, 350,000, it could be there easily. But I had that picture off where he kind of opens up the cubicle and just pushes it away, and nobody says anything. His boss comes in, is like, what's going on? But otherwise, like nobody.
And he goes, well, can you get those TPS reports? He just flat out says no.
No.
Yeah, no.
I actually have a meeting
right.
with the Bobs, so gotta
Yeah, and he goes to the Bobs and they promote him right there, and they ask him, "Oh, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy?" And it's the first time where he's a bit of a shock. It's like, wait, I'm getting promoted?
Yeah. Well, you're
not
firing
doing
Samir
special.
and Michael, and also it's like, well,
Samir, sorry.
and there's
Samir, Naga,
not gonna work here
not gonna
anymore.
work
that was also that was a completely improvised line too.
Good, because I was going to ask,
Yeah.
did they have the line first and then choose a surname? Because that would have been good. But like, that's a brilliant line.
Yeah.
That the way they look at each other and laugh when they're firing one of his friends is excellent.
Yeah, that's why McGinley is so good, because he's so good at that specific role where he's playing that subtle asshole. If
you've seen
Scrubs.
Scrubs,
Right
yep.
here, you go
Scrubs,
to-
yeah.
No.
Dr. Cox.
The
Yeah.
Animal with Rob Schneider. He is
Yes,
an
I know.
absolute nasty bully in that, and he's brilliant.
Oh, that also was it. It was John Candy's last film. Was it Wagons
East.
Yeah.
He was in that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know it was in that.
Yeah.
There are certain roles where he kind of fits like a glove, and it's usually, it doesn't have to be the bad guy, but it's the sort of sarcastic asshole type of role that kind of fits
Very
him.
much so. Yeah.
And he could be playing, I don't know, good parts, bad parts. In this one, it's very subtle. It's not over the top. It's very subtle as those Bobs, but
It's there. It's the same way. Like when it comes to like John C. Reilly, whenever you see him in something, you assume he's going to be like the best friend or the buddy of one of the main characters. Like that. That's just like his archetype.
But he's another one that's in serious roles sometimes. So that guy, the guy from John C. McGinley or whatever his name is. What's his name? No, it's Paul. Who's this guy? The Scrubs guy?
That's John C. McGinley. Yeah.
John C.
John C. McGinley. Okay, so he's also. Sorry, we were just talking about John C. Reilly. I thought I must have mixed it up. Yeah. So
No,
John
No,
C.
no, no. I
McCoy-
was talking about a different character. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He
So
is the best
he-
friend
Okay.
in Boogie Nights, in Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I know.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm
Yeah.
surprised their names are the same because they fall in the same category. But
Yeah.
I think we were talking about The Rock earlier, and I think this guy is in the Rock as a normal soldier. And when you go back and watch him after
Yes,
you've
he
seen
is.
this,
You're right. Yeah,
after you've
yeah.
seen this stuff, you're like, what's he doing now, and why isn't he doing this? Because you so expect him to be nasty. When he's just a normal guy, you're like, what are you doing? Make someone else do that.
Surprise, surprise. Go watch The Rock again. He's playing the asshole-ish type. He's just playing the good guy.
Yeah.
He is playing the asshole-ish
Oh,
type.
he is. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. There's
That's
another
it.
film then
Right.
where he's a soldier, and it's not The Rock, or he's some sort of militant or something. But anyway, that's for another
Probably-
Oh,
time.
he's
You know
been
what?
well. God, he's been so
Probably
many
is.
movies.
But if you go back to, like, let's say Wall Street, same kind of guy.
Yeah.
Same
Fair
kind of
enough.
guy playing
Yeah.
opposite Charlie Sheen in that brokerage office. So Peter
Platoon.
knows that his
by the way.
friends are they're gonna.
Oh,
get
Platoon. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Misty. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Platoon.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
How old
It's hard
is he?
to because look at him. He still looks great. He aged
Yeah, how
very
old is he now?
gracefully.
How old do you think he is? He must be about
I
65
don't
then.
know,
if
but
he's-
he looked 40 when he was 20.
Yeah, he's like the guitarist from Queen. He's
Yeah.
gone from being 17
Oh, yeah,
to
Brian-
40
Brian-
and has never not been 40. Like you look back at some of those old prog rock bands and no one looks under 40, like even
Yeah.
the ones where they're 17.
Yeah,
I suppose you
I'm
just
sorry. Well,
associate-
to me, Geddy Lee looks like he's perpetually like 17 because
Right,
he's
okay.
like he looks like he's on the cusp of puberty just
Yeah.
constantly.
So we get Peter to talk to David Herman's character, Michael Bolton. He
Yeah.
talks to Michael in his apartment while the neighbor is listening, and then they go out to the bar and they talk about getting. He tells them they're going to get fired.
Oh,
And
well, actually,
of
David
the
Herman
fun-
has another great improvised expletive here.
Mm.
Cock gobblers.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the table.
All right. I didn't know it was off improvised, but all right. I thought it was something that Mike Judge would have written, but yeah.
No.
So they have that conversation at the bar
yeah.
because Peter kind of gets to that point where, well, we can do this. He comes from the I'm free, and he tries to get Michael to get along with the program. We can do it, but they kind of realize that they kind of need Samir because sits at a pivotal point where he can actually put it into the system. So they get Samir in, and as they're talking about it and mentioning
love it.
Superman 3 and hackers,
Yeah.
they finish up and it's like, okay, it's between us
I have to
all.
I have to get my resume ready, and it has the explanation of white collar prison and in conjunct with like, wait, you can have sex with women in these conjugal visits? Yes, I'm in. Lawrence
as if
chiming
they
in.
provide the
I
women."
won't tell anybody either. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. And to me, this is a nice little setup without being so overt to when they go to the party and both Samir and Michael talk to the lawyer. That's
Tom's lawyer,
suspicious.
yeah.
Yep.
He looks like a fucking Johnny Cochran.
Cochran. Oh,
Did
very
you
much
know
so,
it
yeah.
kind of looks like Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
And they're
I
like,
didn't think
no,
about that.
like
That
these
was
people are
done on purpose.
really great. Because
right,
it's
okay.
after the OJ trial.
Oh,
So
this,
it's like,
this is several years after OJ, yeah.
like, is it on purpose?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, he looks exactly. He's a bit bigger, but
I didn't see the resemblance.
if I put
I don't know.
his picture,
Johnny Cochran's small, isn't he? He's a little guy.
oh, he's tall. He's a tall black
he?
guy. With
Johnny
with a
Cochran. I thought it was
big-
tiny.
I'll
Again, I might have just. It's obviously been about 20 years since I've watched any of the trials.
No, it's all right.
no, but I'll show the picture of the
Sorry. Yeah. Fine. Yeah.
the
Got
lawyer.
it. Just seen it.
You seen it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Just
No.
seen it. Yeah.
the whole
You're right.
point is that setup in when they're hatching up that plan is kind of paid off a little bit when they go to the party. It's like, No, those prisons, even at a minimum security, those are fucking.
No, I was told by a
don't
client.
be there
No,
at
they're
all.
real. I was told by my client. You either go and you fight the biggest guy, or you become somebody's bitch. That's how you survive.
Oh shit! Kind of putting their mind into the realization. Oh, we're gonna get.
Yeah.
fucked
Oh,
if
in
we
the
find out.
nightmare, also in later Peter's nightmares, like Michael Bolton and Samir, not up. I sentence you to 4 years in the federal pound me in the ass prison. And you, Peter Gibbons, you are a very bad person.
The nightmare. Are we on to talking about the nightmare now? In after the post barbecue nightmare.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What a scene is that? I mean, how good is Gary Cole in that bit with his mug?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
oh, hi, Peter.
Peter, I'm gonna have to get you to come in on Sunday. Fuck off. Talking
gonna
about
need
TPS
those,
reports while he's balls deep in
TPS
it.
reports.
Yeah, there we go.
ASAP,
That's the one.
okay.
Okay.
To me,
Oh, side note: Jennifer Aniston refused to actually even be in this scene. That's not
blame
her
her.
foot.
Those are horrible feet. Is that Freddy Krueger?
first of all,
Look at those
I didn't think it was her.
Her? Yeah, I know. It's still just funny. It's just like no,
But it's
she
funny to
flatly
know.
refused to be in this scene specifically.
Yeah.
I would imagine so. But yeah.
But also, we kind of skipped over one of the best scenes, which is back with your ass with the resurrection. The stapler beating, the stapler and the printer beating.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Which is so great about that too is Mike Judge based it off of his frustration with his own printer at home when he was trying to print copies of the script of Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was so pissed off. He's like, "No, I'm gonna make my characters beat the shit out of this."
Because I was going to ask about that. I thought that was a scene from like a gangster film where two of them are beating a guy up and one just won't stop, and then they all have to drag him away. And I thought I recognized that scene from somewhere else, but I couldn't remember what it was. I was wondering if it was based on something else, but maybe not.
No, this is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there are actually scenes that were based off of that from this.
Right. Oh, okay.
I think it's also just like a general cliche too, like outside of movies of just like that the one person taking it too far, like the hold me back, man. Like that shit. I think that's just like, in any context it's used, but yeah.
And what's funny too, if you notice, there's one of the crew that never actually hits the printer.
Yeah, Peter.
Yeah.
He never actually hits it.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
doesn't care anymore.
It makes sense because Peter is the only one who hasn't used the copier for anything because he didn't put the jackets on the TPS reports because he forgot.
That's right.
So
Amazing.
it ties in story-wise, it ties in correctly. Now, we have a question. It's a very important question.
It's Ling. Yes. Yes, there is very
Y'all know-
very popular gifts. Mhm.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I've just replied to that.
Just a question. It's fine. Yes, it's mostly the neighbor, Dietrich's character, I think.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And-
There's Lawrence's
no,
one.
Gary Cole's character, like, yeah, that one. The stapler is like super, like the Milton stapler thing, very well known one, and Dietrich. Nothing to do with Peter. Most of the Peter stuff is,
No.
I think the gif where he takes down the thing.
Oh yeah, pushing down. Yeah, there is the
the
mean gif
cubicle?
of him pushing down the cubicle wall. Yeah.
That's about it. The only other stuff is the side characters. The Bobs is another gif. I don't remember what they put in, but yeah.
Yeah, the mug one's also used in a lot of like still like just meme image macros of just like I'm gonna need you to do that. Okay. Like there's also like that format which comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Like what would you say you do here is the other big one.
Yeah.
It's not a funny question, but it is funny because loads of young people that you encounter these days, and when I'm saying young people, it could be 28. Okay, it's like,
Yeah, Fisty, you youths.
29. I'm out of this category. I'm old now apparently.
I'm
Young people to me, anyone under 40.
Yeah.
I know anyone.
Yay, I get to be young still. for a couple weeks.
Happy
One
birthday.
thing I did notice is the fact that people are getting these gifts and they don't know the movie in which it came from, but they kind of get what it was going for.
Yeah.
So it sort of transcends the whole movie experience because I get that it's the Staples meme, it's the get to work meme kind of a thing, but they haven't seen the movie. What we want, or at least I want, is to get people to go and watch these movies. And now you get the GIF or the GIF better, and you understand the humor behind it. You understand the meme, and you get to enjoy a good movie or not. It's just all up to you.
So I do think that there are some that lose that context, but what's super interesting about the meme formats and the GIFs and stuff like that is if it is being used right, you understand exactly what it's conveying and like the sentiment behind the bit. You might not know it. Oh, that's Lundgren or whatever else, but like what's interesting is like because I've had that a lot where I've been like, oh, like to use another example, like the Leonardo DiCaprio like pointing. It's like I've had plenty more time. I'm like that's the meme. Like that's the thing, you know. So it is funny how much those are ingrained, but.
You can actually see that in many of those YouTubers who do first time reaction to a movie, and they're like watching this, like, oh, I know this. That's the meme. It's like, exactly. Now watch the movie. It's like, and they generally enjoy the movie. I did a review of Willy Wonka, and because I was dealing with it and trying to do some research, one of those first time watch thing, and the fact that he does this gobstopper thing, it's like, oh, that's the meme. It's like, yes, but the movie's good. Watch the movie.
That also with the creepy tone. I don't know where this is going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
I was gonna say one thing too, where Peter is like, "Whoa, you guys had a party last night where you were celebrating." I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
The answer is no, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I can't tell you. Then he tells her immediately.
Exactly. The ride with Joanna. Is it before they do the deed or after?
This is after. This is them going to the party.
Where she literally puts him in his place. So it's like stealing.
You're stealing.
It's not stealing. So you're taking something that doesn't belong to you, and you're putting it and you have it with you. So it's stealing. And Peter's like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's just half a penny.
It's fractions of a cent, but it's money that's not yours.
Yeah.
And then also she goes like, no, they're the lawful ones. And then when he turns that around, like, you know, the Nazis had pieces of flair they made the Jews wear. It's like,
God.
Yeah, it did escalate from it's the give a penny, take a penny jar. Or the cup to the Nazis real quick.
It's like
that's a step too far, but yeah, we get it. Understand. They go to Tom, and Tom is like, yeah.
Again, poor guy. This was his first day on set. Was this?
It took 2 hours to put him in that thing, and 1 hour to get out. I understand the 2 hours in. Why the hour out?
Because they had no one else, so they had to have an EMT.
I get it. I get that.
That and having had a lot of cast taken off, like it does take a bit of time because you gotta cut through them and like the way that they do it, so that it obviously doesn't cut your skin, whatever else. Like it's a slow going process. Even to get like an arm cast off will take you 10 minutes, whatever else.
Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck this. I don't need an EMT, guys. Like, get it out.
You have to love too the fact that Tom actually gets the prototype of his jump to conclusions mat made, and he spelled lose wrong.
Yeah.
You lose a turn.
Oh, okay. And we get a little bit of revelation here with
Drew.
Key guy with Drew from The Office. Like, yeah, she fucked Lumberg's. Like, what the fuck now?
Lumberg? Yeah, what's funny
Lumberg?
too is the next name that she mentions is David Rennie, who was the film's editor.
Who? What? You
So
lost
he
it.
mentions
Well,
that
how did she
like,
mention?
oh yeah, she slept with Lumberg.
Oh,
And then she
Yeah.
also slept with David Rennie, and he starts like
Wow.
if you
Oh,
pay
she-
attention,
okay.
yeah,
Got
going on with
Got it.
the men that
Yeah.
she slept with,
it. So those are people from the
the
production.
cast and crew, yeah.
Amazing.
All right.
Yeah, well, at least I never slept with Lumberg.
and he also does the sort of, I would call it a tuck and roll, but it's like, okay, you need to get the fuck out. It's like, okay, get out. It's not the tuck and roll. The Eddie Murphy method of relationships. It's like back in the day in the 50s, no, you're not gonna get out here. But today, it's like, get the fuck out. Out.
Yeah.
Get out the door. Fine. Right, let's have a stop. And let's play our second game of the night. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1. Fight.
Screen Fighter for the uninitiated is where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good, both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the girls, out with the boys, out with your significant other. Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will be? Pop in. And for some reason, I have closed the fucking window. That is beautiful because I have prepared something in advance and now it's fucked. So,
Hey.
That's what happens when you forget the cover letter on the TPS reports. Everything goes to
This is
shit.
what happens. No. This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the
In the-
ass.
No, it's what happens when you fight a stranger in the Alps. You
No.
know,
I'm gonna need you to reload that file.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
Go ahead and
all
do
right.
that. Okay.
Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? Guests go first. Chat participation. Most welcome. Jay, Falling
Falling down 100%.
or Scott Program. Fisty,
for
Falling
me,
down
it's
100%.
it's Scott Pilgrim. No questions asked.
have you seen the new show?
This new show I have not.
Check it out. If you
I've-
like the movie, you might love the show.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things, so I'll have to check it out. It's on my list.
By the way, definitely not for me. It is falling down, hands down, all day, any day. I hate Scott Pilgrim.
So do I. I don't understand it.
Passion.
Yeah, same.
Feelings?
I still have to go with Falling Down. You know how much I love that movie.
I know.
Eh.
Paul says falling down. That means chat says falling down. It's falling down. I understand the appeal, Fisty.
Oh no, I totally understand why I'm the odd man out here.
I just don't think Michael Cera is a great cast. Plus, I hate that movie so much.
I don't know anything about the previous, whatever it was, comics or
Oh,
whatever.
come on, don't do this to me. Fucking flick chart. Come on. Oh, wait, it's going to jump. I'm telling you. Okay, maybe not.
Ooh.
Bonnie and Clyde or Deja Vu? Don't anybody go all at once.
I'm going to go Deja Vu. I love that movie. I think it's brilliant.
Okay, cool.
For me, I can't speak to it. I haven't seen either.
Damn, Fisty. Not
I
even
know.
Deja Vu?
Not even Deja Vu.
I'm going to go with... I knew it was...
There it
jump.
goes. I knew it. I was
It's
waiting for it.
Bonnie and Clyde to me. It's classic.
Okay.
I like what they did with the time skip in Deja Vu, but it's not enough for me. And Paula Patton is legit babe, but no. Star Trek Into Darkness or The Princess and the Frog? Tough choice for me.
I've not seen Star Trek Into Darkness, but I quite liked Princess and the Frog.
Into Darkness is the one with Cumberbitch.
Oh, well then definitely Princess and the Frog.
Fisty?
Oh, Jay, I knew you and I were going to get along because I hate that
Yeah.
guy so much.
Yeah, it's awful, awful.
I would go Princess and the Frog, and I also have not seen Star Trek Into Darkness, but I surprisingly have not seen a single Star Trek thing. No episode of any series or movie. That's like my biggest nerd gap is I have not seen a single thing of Star Trek.
Are you more of an elves and dwarves nerd rather than a space nerd? Or
like I love space stuff. Like I love Star Wars. I love sci-fi in general. I don't know. That's somehow one of the things you're like, wait, really? You missed that?
It can be a bit. It can seem a bit weird from the outside, I suppose. I mean, it is weird. So Star Trek. People who get into it get properly into it.
Yeah, but weird is rad.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the new Star Treks. I just don't. That and also with Benedict Cumberbatch. No, even though I think Princess and the Frog is probably one of the worst of the new Disney films.
No. It is definitely
not one of those.
Not
it's not one of those.
I would say of the 20s, it's up there as one of probably like it was starting the slow decline of Disney when it comes to
it's on par with Tangled. It's not as good as Frozen and Moana, but it's on par with Tangled, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
It is. First of all, it's worse than Tangled because Tangled I can actually watch through. In this one, I could not.
All right, fair enough.
It's sort of the last movie that was kind of like not a Pixar movie, just a straight up Disney movie. After this one, it was just Pixar. So Disney Pixar.
Okay.
After this one. This was the last one from Disney Animation.
The only thing I really liked about it was I liked the Cajun flair and the kind of like Baron Samedi voodoo villain in it. But
not my favorite. I hated Into Darkness because what they did was
you love Star Trek.
Yeah. With the new cast, this was the movie that solidified me hating the other J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie.
Right.
Okay.
It just made me go back to the other one. And it's like
this is terrible.
Don't like this alternative kind of timeline thing that they got going on. I hate it. I can't pick. I'll just go with you guys because Princess and the Frog is not for me. It's definitely not for me. I'm telling you, the last Disney. Well, I can say Frozen. I've seen Frozen, but Tangled was kind of the last one. Diamonds Are Forever or JFK. I see,
and it's
or Rocky Balboa and Gladiator.
So are we doing the first one or are we doing this one?
This one.
We're going to do this one.
Because the last one was too difficult. I'm going to go with Gladiator on this one.
Okay. Reason?
Well, I mean, I can't think of anything that's better I can't think of anything that's better about Rocky Balboa than Gladiator.
Okay.
I mean, it's hands down, I think, this one.
Fisty?
So I agree with you on that, Jay. Like, I think you are 100% right. But for personal reasons, I still got to go Rocky. Like, growing up, boxing, like, my stepdad, his family, like, they were huge, Rocky fans growing up. Like, that's what got me into a lot of just, like, older movies and stuff. Right. Like, just, so, like, for personal reasons, I got to go Rocky. But objectively speaking, you are right on Gladiator.
Feelings?
As a giant fan of Roman history, the inaccuracies of Gladiator would fucking bother me to no fucking end. But I do still think Gladiator is a better film. I thought that Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Emperor in that was interesting because they kind of told a little bit what the actual Emperor did, because he actually did put himself in gladiatorial combat, but it was staged, obviously. But yeah, I would still have to go with Gladiator. It's a much better film overall.
I'll give props to Rocky Balboa. When I initially watched it, I thought it was terrible. Rewatching it, it's a much better. First of all, it's better than number 5. hands down.
Well, anything's better than number 5.
What?
Yes.
Happy
Come
birthday,
on.
Polly.
Come on. Rocky
But-
5 is outstanding. That's massively underrated. Tommy Morrison was brilliant. I thought it was excellent. I like the Creed ones as well.
Fuck him and let him rot in the.
Oh,
casket.
Creed was good.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Creed. It's first of all, Rocky Balboa is better than all of the Creeds, all 2 of them or 3 of them or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
wait. The next one's going to be bad. I'm telling you now.
Oh,
The
yeah,
daughter's
the
going to
next
be the
one's
deaf
gonna be
daughter's going to be the
probably-
main character.
Definitely.
100%.
But I would put him at par with even Rocky 3, where Rocky 4 is a glorified salute to America.
Oh, if you think about it, it's a very USA propaganda piece in so many ways.
Yeah, but that makes people in the West feel good. So just let it happen.
If you put that aside,
If he
I would
dies,
put
he
Rocky
dies.
Balboa in terms of how they told the story, sort of on par with how they told the story in 3 and 2, but it's not as good as them. I would pick Gladiator. It's a great movie, regardless of the historical inaccuracies. As an epic, putting aside history, as an epic, it's a great epic. That's why I was so excited to go and watch Napoleon. And I didn't watch Napoleon yet, but my hype for it just crumbled into the infinity because I've heard awful things about it.
So hang on, you're going with Gladiator now.
Gladiator, for sure.
So I thought you changed.
No.
And if you
I
can change,
blame
and I
you.
can change,
I love
then we can all change.
No,
I
he's just
love
going
Rocky
on a
Balboa.
diatribe of like, this film's great, but...
That's an awful insert of a line from Rocky 4.
There we go. The Breakup or Die Hard. Is it there? It's easy.
or no,
doing that.
never mind. Is this
So
going to
easy.
change again?
Being John Malkovich or Annie Hall.
Right. Well, I'm going to start with fuck off to that one and fuck off to the other one.
Okay.
Fuck off that shit. I'm not having that. Go on. Neither. I'll die in a fire.
Okay.
Fair. Fisty?
Once again, I know so little about either of them, and I haven't seen them. I can't speak to them.
It's up to us both. So that means
Beth, I know
being
which
John
one you're going to
Malkovich?
pick.
Being
I
John
know.
Malkovich.
Because I think it's the only one that you actually like of those two. I think Annie Hall is probably one of his Woody Allen's best films outside of Midnight in Paris, but Being John Malkovich is a better film overall.
And also, Annie Hall will never ever win with me because of one particular thing. It came out in 1977, won Best Picture over Star Wars.
Yeah.
Fuck
You
off.
can't have, you can't have Star Wars winning Best Picture because a lot of things are taken into account, aren't they? And Star Wars.
I'll tell you why it's so important. Star Wars, fuck all the other movies, fuck everything else. Star Wars started with such a unique way. It influenced from Star Wars on and influenced so many directors that can go back and say this is not my best. Like they don't put Star Wars as their number one film of all time, but they put Star Wars as when I've seen that, it inspired me to do this or inspired me to go into filmmaking. It's when the big ship comes out, the little ship comes out with a big bang and everything, and the big ship following it. That's the thing.
I'm totally with you. I mean, I love Star Wars. When I say Star Wars, I mean the film Star Wars, which I still call Star Wars, by the way.
I do too.
That's I totally agree with that. I think it's brilliant. But I'm just saying that all the proper film people would have an absolute meltdown, wouldn't they, if Star Wars won Best Picture?
Yeah. It to me, in Annie Hall, I understand
What Paul Hartley has said in the chat is exactly right.
That is very accurate. Yes,
bang on. A load of people going around pretending to it's really hilarious. What bit? I can't think of one.
Exactly. So
it reminds me of in that terminology the same way with the New Yorker cartoon in Seinfeld. Like, Well, actually, we can't explain why it's funny. I just like it. It's a cute little bunny.
And to me, Woody Allen, especially back then, was the darling of the people who went to these Oscar sort of things.
Exactly.
And George Lucas was definitely not. George Lucas was
Yes.
the American Graffiti guy, which
Yeah.
they would have given him something for, some sort of an Oscar, if it wasn't competing with somebody else that they liked.
Mhm.
But then going from American Graffiti to Star Wars, I was like, no, this is like a blockbustery thing. This is not Oscar material. It was nominated, didn't win.
Yeah.
So-
R.I.P. George Lucas.
He's not dead.
Well, he may as well be there, mightn't he? So,
Well, his career is.
Well, he's like 87 with a 3-year-old daughter or something.
as,
like
as
that.
far as Disney are concerned,
I
he's
didn't
dead.
know
and
that,
we're never-
Jesus.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming back.
Oh, you didn't know 50?
No.
Yeah, he had a newborn at 77, 78.
What an absolute stud. That's brilliant.
The man fires on all cylinders.
All I gotta say is it's hey, it's midichlorians, man.
Fuck the prequels. Fuck them up the
I
ass.
knew it was gonna get meth.
Jesus Christ. So sodomy. Sodomy. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. Players.
Okay.
Blasphemy, I think you mean. There's that language barrier. Anyway.
You want to say buggery? Fuck, buggery.
Oh, no,
too.
sorry. I thought you meant blasphemy, but like, fair enough.
No. He meant butt
I
You
stuff.
mean-
actually, you actually mean sodomy. Fine, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were talking about bumming. I
Okay.
thought this was about. Go on.
I'm going to embing myself for a little bit. I meant he fucked it up the ass. There we go.
Got you. Thanks. Yeah.
Clip it and ship it.
Yeah.
All right. So even Joanna, let's say, contracted Peter's freedom virus. We'll call it that. And she also at a certain point is like, you can take your flares.
Want to
and
see
you
my pieces of flair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she kind of expected it to go that way, but it also is a nice little, nice little payoff later on comes in, because when she was sitting down at a restaurant with Peter, she kind of looked at the other waitresses and saw that.
Well,
they're
she looked around the
dressed-
restaurant and Flingers like,
yeah,
oh, this
they're
place
dressed
is nice.
nicer, and they kind of they don't have any flares, and it kind of mills about. And when he goes up and because he apologizes to her, she's working at that other place. She's
Flingers.
already at the other place's uniform, and she actually enjoys what she's doing. It's so great that Rachel has left the role of Rachel to be a waitress at another movie,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Can we go to I kind of discuss the flair briefly? So what he
Yes.
wants you to have like at least 15 pieces. If you worked at a place like that and you had to pick 15 like badges or whatever that represented your personality, I'd probably only be able to find 3. Everything else I'd find offensive. Do you know what I mean? Like what could you possibly pick? 15 bands that you like?
First of all, the first one goes up is the smiley from The Watchmen.
Fine, yeah, the nice one,
Oh, with the
Smiley
blood stain? Yeah.
with a blood thing.
yeah.
And then it is Have a Nice Day. And the other ones are all offensive. They're all of them offensive.
Oh, sorry, you mean an actual offense? Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if I picked 15 badges out, 14 of them were going to get me fired.
Yeah, like 13 would be all offensive. Maybe even I'll make even an effort and make like 30 of them, and all of them offensive. Poop emoji, like whatever you want to feel like. It's like fuck you, up yours.
Oh, I had worse in mind than that, but we'll go with those. Yeah, fine.
See, I went a different route, and I was like, I would just wear 15 things that either blink lights, like like annoyingly, or are just basically mirrors. So I'm just blinding people, like just until they annoy the customers enough to get rid of the flare. I'm basically just like nipple level, just trying to get the sun to like ruin everybody's day.
Yeah.
It's like no.
Or 15 badges that say, please tip me.
Yeah.
To be absolutely candid with you, I thought when he talked about the flares, yes, I knew he was talking about the badges, but it's not about the badges. It's about being sort of peppy and being like that annoying other waiter.
Brian, yeah.
That's the flair that they were going for, to be flamboyant.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that kind of a flamboyant thing, but
Yeah.
sort of overly crazy, overly happy, overly whatever. He wanted her to be like that. Not necessarily having those 15 badges. It's just those 15 badges represent the minimum,
Yeah.
peppiness. We'll call it
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, it's definitely like a culture that's been ingrained in like American chain restaurants, like all the things where you're like, you can get this obnoxiously large steak and even more obnoxiously large potatoes with it. Like there's something about, and it's because like, there's a whole culture of like, you're not going to go get food and like experience a meal, but like you're going to be superior to somebody and that you are like better, that like there's like this like weird thing of like being the servant to them, and like you can't you can't not smile, you can't not be peppy, you can't whatever else. It's just like this weird thing of like this subgenre of restaurants. It's
Do
all
Americans
about
need to be told that they're superior to fast food restaurant servers?
No.
yes.
No.
I would say-
The waiting staff needs to be subservient.
I would have thought it would be more like, okay, you're all doing this, and obviously everyone's just coming in as if we're numbers, and it's like, right, come on, show them you're a real human being. Go on, then they might give you tips. That's what I thought it was. Oh, it's more sinister than that. But,
It really, at least in my view, it's just gross.
yeah.
When it comes
I
to
think-
chain restaurants, it really is. When it comes to like unique dining experiences, it's a little bit different. Where that is more part of it, where you actually are trying to kind of almost like in those environments, you're trying to build a relationship with your with the customer there, where you're trying to basically like ingratiate yourself to them so they want to tip you more. When it comes to like chain restaurants, it's like, no, I'm kind of your slave.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Please tip me.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't
Especially
know.
because they get paid absolutely like the worst wages, because in the States, like it's tipping is almost mandatory because they don't make a livable wage.
Yeah, it's
and
like
maybe the bit
$2.30
of
an hour.
flair can be a bit of cardboard held up with black writing on it saying, help me, I'm a waitress.
Yeah.
We'll literally serve for food. Wait.
I don't know if you guys worked at any chain, but I worked at Dunkin' Donuts here when there was Dunkin' Donuts here. The training tapes that I've seen are the most hilarious things ever
Cheesy
for
American
a guy
stuff.
that is not grown in like American culture.
Yeah.
It is insane how much. Oh, be sure to smile. Be sure to be polite. Be sure to be happy.
Right there.
Because when you're happy, the customer is happy. And I shit you not, they said exactly that. If you're happy, then the customer is happy. Then they buy more.
Yeah.
Literally from a training tape from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like,
Is there not a limit on how many donuts people will buy? I don't know. I thought like maybe
No.
a pack of 6.
No, this is America. Buy
Yeah,
by the
well-
case, by the crate.
Yeah. In fairness, when I've been there, I've absolutely torn through Dunkin' Donuts and Krispy Kremes. It's just the dream. But like, there's a maximum amount, that a maximum number, that I can consume on one sitting, just about. So I don't care whether, even if the
months away
person's a
from
right
being
miserable twat, I'm still going to buy 6 of them. I'm not going to buy a dozen if the person's really happy. And what if I'm in a bad mood? I don't want the person to. I actually don't want a waiter to be happy, because I'd be worried there's something wrong with him, and 2, like try and have any sort of interaction with me beyond here's your food. I'm the sort of person that gets annoyed when they come back to the table and I've got fucking half a chicken in my mouth, and he's like, "Is everything okay for you?" "Yes, it's fine, or I'll make a fucking complaint." And everyone says that who goes to these restaurants. But if you ever speak to someone who's been a waiter, they go, "Oh no, you have to do that. You have to do that."
Yeah.
So no, you have been completely brainwashed to think that that's the case. But nobody who actually goes to a restaurant likes it. The only people that go to restaurants and like it are people that have previously been waiters, because they've been told it as well. It's complete brainwash. Stop doing it.
I did not tip at all at a restaurant where there was a guy with a trainee waiter. Didn't put it on the trainee because the guy who was training him was bad.
Right.
I took a napkin
Yeah.
and did this,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
this, put it on the side. The guy came in and took it, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm cleaning this up. I'm like cleaning this up for you. It's like, leave me be. I need to
Fuck
eat.
off.
I don't want you to prance around me. Now, he did that after prancing around me for 7 times. It's like, no,
Just
you are
get
not
away-
getting a tip because this
Yeah.
is not a service. This is prancing around. Just leave me to eat.
Get away from my table, and this is why I get stuff ordered at home because fuck off. They piss me off.
So yeah, I mean, like my 2 things on that is, one, this seems like more of a conversation for what is it, Reservoir Dogs, right? That's one with the big tip scene at the table.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And 2, like, you know, that's the problem is, like, you can't as a consumer necessarily fix that because it, you know, like, they have to do this or like they risk not getting a tip, right? And for them, like, that's $2.30 an hour in my state is the minimum wage for servers. Like, it is a system that is like self-perpetuating and terrible, and fuck Flair, fuck the chain restaurants. Like, it's just not good.
Anyway,
sorry.
Office Space.
So movie.
The guys kind of realize, we've stolen 350,000 because we expected 350,000 in 2 years from now because we're going to jail. What can we do to not?
This is not a mundane detail. I always fuck up some kind of thing. Put it in a decimal point. In the wrong place.
It's a pretty big fuck up.
It's a pretty big fuck up, and because of that, we discussed this. Peter has this, the dream, the dream that kind of ends with his girlfriend being railed by Limburg. But yeah, the judge was hilarious. Because
which is actually really, really funny too, is there is a that judge, oddly enough, was on an episode of Mad TV. It was one of David Herman, who plays Michael Bolton's last episodes. Guess what he plays?
A nerdy geek?
A judge.
Oh, okay.
The judge plays a judge.
Okay.
Amazing.
And of course, Peter gets up, kind of.
Oh, and I do love them like, talking about money laundering too. Like, how do these stupid thugs?
Oh yeah,
we can't figure this out. They have Orlando Jones, who was also on Mad TV.
Also on Mad TV, yeah.
It's like, no, I actually make more money selling magazines than I ever did as a software engineer. Like, you're not gonna tell anybody about this. Well, that all depends.
I love him. I love him even more in Evolution, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I love Lawrence in the background. Like, no, I'm good, man. I don't want you fucking up my life too.
Yeah. And of course, Peter has this revelation. He gets up, goes to see Joanna. Joanna just finished up a shift, and he says, "Look, I understand. You were right. I was stealing money. We fucked up. I'm gonna come clean and take all the blame on me. I don't want the other guys to get fucked because they just lost their jobs, basically." And that kind of, and he goes into the spiel, and suddenly, magically, she forgives him. And this is why probably Mike Judge didn't like, is this kind of conversation.
This was part of it, yeah.
At like 5-10 minutes before the ending of the movie, it's like everything kind of wraps up in a nice little bow. As Peter's like, okay, I'm gonna write the checks. I'm gonna bring everything back. I'm gonna give it to Lumberg. He doesn't say it, but that's what he does.
Yeah.
He goes.
If I could be with you, I think I'd be happy with my life. And there's also like Lawrence's last conversation with him too. He's like, "Hey Peter, look out for your cornhole, bud."
Yeah. And he goes and he slides the thing and immediately fucking regrets it.
Oh yeah, tries to dive in like he's gonna get it back. Yeah.
He immediately regrets it because technically you just signed your arrest warrant per se, but he still has to do it. And of course, he's like, okay, I've slided it in. Lumberg isn't here. I'm going to just pack up and leave. And then we get the cornhole bit. Yeah. There.
Yep. And they go to the office and the office is on fire. Yeah.
And of course he goes and the office is on fire. And I've skipped, of course, the fact that after Peter slides in the checks, Milton comes in and he wants the fucking stapler. So he just goes in. He just goes in.
Well, he's not in. He'll be in later.
And they come back. Everything's burning. So all three of the conspirators are safe. But Peter still quits his job and goes into
starts working construction with Lawrence, which is like it's great about this out in the fresh air and everything. And when he's shoveling, he finds the stapler.
Yeah.
And what's great too is if you look in the back, you see one of the big dumpster bins in the back has absolute demolition with a number on it. Real business, real number.
Really?
No
Yeah.
shit.
I thought they don't do that in movies. Did they pay to get in or?
No, it was actually just one of the demolition crews they had on set already.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
they just basically gave him free promotion.
Free advertising.
forever.
Nice. Yeah.
Great. Hey, dude, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And of course, the last scene is Milton still not getting his weight from the Caribbean.
I asked for a Mai Tai. I was given a pina colada. And before I was given a margarita. And
I was like,
a rim of salt.
On the bean.
Huge grains of salt. I put strychnine in.
and it's like, like I said at the beginning, they heavily implied that he burned it. You're saying he definitely burned it.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, because
There's no way he didn't.
Because he says it multiple times. I'll burn this place to the ground.
Yeah. Got me.
Which means that waiter is dead. Because he will put strychnine in his fucking whatever.
I'm sorry. My Spanish is a little bit rusty, but he walks with it. Sorry, the pinche gringo. As the waiter walks away, like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Now I want to get to the end because I missed it. There's a. Is it? No. Can't find it. Never mind. There's a. There we go. Found it.
Yes.
This
There we
film
go.
was cut entirely on a computer. Now, if you don't,
I was hoping
if
you bring
miss
this one
it,
up. Yeah.
You miss it.
Yeah,
I missed it. Like I said, when we go and do these shows, both me and Feelings go do a little bit of research on everything that is behind the scenes and everything. This came up, and I was like, that's interesting. I went to Idiocracy. It's there at the end as well.
Yep.
Now, Feelings, what is this film was cut entirely on a computer?
The other line from Idiocracy is this film was also cut entirely on a computer.
Yeah.
It's listed in the credits of
What's
Idiocracy.
the significance, but I couldn't find the significance of it. It's just there.
This is actually a tie-in that actually goes through all of Mike Judge's films.
Okay.
It's actually in a different film of his as well, called Extract.
Okay. So what's the significance? It's just there because
It's there.
It's funny.
It's there because it's part of just something he wanted to add as a tie-in.
It's just
Okay.
Mike Judge lore just exists.
Okay. So there's no there's no nothing behind it, or there is, but only Mike Judge knows it, and he's like, "This is my personal joke. I'm gonna put a stamp on it."
I also has to go back to some of the early frame editing that he did for the Milton stuff, and also for the stuff for Beavis and Butthead, where he was using old frame by frame stuff to cut things on a computer for liquid television. So it's kind of like, and people told him like, you can't do animation this way.
Okay. So it's there as a sort of
It's kind of a little like, I did it.
Also a joke because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's like, I told you I could do it.
All right, and that kind of brings us square to the end. I know we kind of skipped a few of the scenes, I know, but the whole point is, again, if you haven't watched this movie, you heard us go over it. There's so much little things that we kind of missed, recurring themes throughout the movies, recurring jokes, just to not only to give you the joke again as a sort of a comedy movie, because this is more of a dark, I would say a dark comedy movie than straight up comedy.
Yeah.
Because they go into the more of the dark realm of, oh, this is so dark, it's funny kind of bit. The recurring themes is something that happens from the beginning, and it gnaws on Peter and the other guys throughout the movie, just to keep that same through line through that storyline, and to keep everything sort of cohesive as a movie.
Yeah.
As you go into the movie again, having that happy ending and a fast wrap up. At the last 10 minutes, you get all the wrap up, including Milton and everything. And it's kind of weird because the whole movie's kind of very mellow, just like Lumberg, very mellow. Nothing really big happens. Even the Tom's accident is off screen. It's like, oh, you've heard about Tom, and they go into Tom's party. Everything is kind of mellow. Everything's kind of set. Nothing really big happens. Just the churning on of events that is happening throughout the company, throughout, Peter's life and everything, including his sort of found freedom. I don't know what else to say. I enjoyed this movie so much. Haven't watched it in about 6, 7, maybe even 8 years. Loved coming back to it. Loved going back into Mike Judge stuff. Watch Idiocracy lately. You can see sort of his humor and his dark humor mostly through Office Space and Idiocracy. Idiocracy is just going overboard. Office Space is very subdued. Feelings?
I was actually going to just pass that off to Jay first.
Jay.
And impressions and...
Yeah, well, I would add, if anyone's watching this, and I'm not someone who generally likes dark comedies, but it is actually it is actually still a comedy that's funny. It's well worth people watching now. I mean, obviously, while the technology is dated, the ideas haven't. I would recommend it, especially in a time where not many comedies are made, if any at all. It's well worth watching. It's something to watch. If you're looking for something to watch and you're bored, do watch it.
Yeah.
Fisty?
I think y'all have summarized it well so far. Like, it's a solid, it's a fun movie to watch. It's very relatable in the best and the worst possible ways. And it's one of those that if you haven't watched it in 15 years, it definitely hits different. As you kind of go through your phases of life and whatever else, like it hits different when you watch it. So I definitely recommend people go watch it.
I would say, to kind of wrap it up, I agree with all the sentiments said already, and I think it's very true. The same thing with Idiocracy, how hyperbolic Idiocracy is, but it still has some tenets there that still are kind of culturally true in a way. With Office Space, even though now the film is when it was filmed, it's 25 years ago now.
Yep.
When it was initially filmed, the overall corporate culture really hasn't moved the needle in any significant way where it's still relatable. And again, like Fisty, like you are now just, again, as you said, moving through your different phases of life. You're now kind of younger in the corporate America environment. Like, you can actually relate to this, even though this was made when you were 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
So yeah.
The one through line, there's two things that are kind of important. A, if you never watched this movie, but you have watched Silicon Valley, which Fisty mentioned, you will see the through line between Office Space and Silicon Valley. Who wrote Silicon Valley? I think Mike Judge. No, I don't think.
I thought it was.
I think so.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Mike Judge did Silicon
Yeah, I
Valley.
believe it was.
But he wasn't like the main writer. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I watched Silicon Valley. I was never interested on who made it. But you guys can check. The one thing I will mention, though, Office Space is does belong or used to belong to 20th Century Fox. So at the
it
moment,
was Mike Judge.
it was Mike Judge.
Yeah.
So you can see the through line between Office Space and Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is sort of or either the next step or let's say 2.0 in terms of technology, but it's sort of the same line of thinking. I was going to say Office Space does belong to 20th Century Fox, which is now owned by Disney. So I wouldn't expect it to be on any streaming service rather than it could be on Pluto or Roku.
It's currently still on HBO Max, which is now just
Correct.
Max now.
Okay, so I don't
In
know
the
how it got
States, anyway.
HBO Max,
Yeah.
but I just don't have HBO Max. But get it on physical media if you can, because it's one of those things where it might be just dissolved into the ether someday.
It's very again, one thing we didn't kind of really touch upon was the fact that it bombed. It was a bomb.
It bombed, yeah.
It didn't recoup any of its actual overall expenses. Overall, it did have a $10 million budget. It did make $12.2 million gross. But in the end, as it grew as a cult hit, it ended up selling millions of dollars worth of DVDs and then Blu-ray releases and all like they end up recouping on the back end inevitably when it became this big cult hit.
I mean, they even released a Jump to Conclusions map.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, my mom bought that. Like, we had that in our house.
Well, again, as we mentioned too, like Swingline actually made a custom red stapler, and they sold out of them immediately.
And one of the things you mentioned is the fact that Mike Judge didn't like the poster. The poster that I have on the thumbnail is the poster that they've revamped for the DVD release, with Milton kind of peeking behind the guy with the Post-its, which made it in terms of interest-wise, made it more interesting because people were like, oh, what's this? And they picked up that DVD. That's kind of initially how it kind of, the turnaround kind of was made. And then when people got to watch the movie, it's like, oh, I'll suggest. So word of mouth kind of made it into this cult classic. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, and just as a side note too, real quick, this was actually this movie becoming a cult hit gave a huge boost in the back end for the Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster actually spiked in the Billboard charts when this became a hit. Yeah.
Nice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank our guests, Jay and Lil Fisty. Jay, what do you got coming up?
I'm spending, and from now until Christmas, doing recaps of Hallmark and Lifetime Christmas movies. You know, the ones where a woman falls in love with someone who she doesn't know is a prince of a fake country in Europe where everyone speaks English. And then someone's really against them getting married. But in the end, they get married. So, yeah. So I'm watching those a number of times.
Welcome home to Christmas land.
Yeah, there you go. Or
I'm currently Christmas time in holiday world.
It's always
like
Christmas in this country. There's never a time of year when it's not Christmas.
Yes.
It's always snowing. Even though it's somewhere in Central Europe, it's still, everyone's a Queen's English speaker. It's incredible.
It's in Trans-Romania.
Wow, there are a lot of really upset single white ladies. Who knew?
who happen to be watching the Hallmark channel.
Who you know what? Who just you know what? I'm too busy to fall in love until
I'm only going to bother if that's probably why they are singing, because they're just waiting for some sort of Prince of Moldova.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just meant to stand on a small bridge in Vermont when it's like lightly snowing, and he's gonna trip. It'll be perfect.
There probably is one exactly like that. And then I've got going to take some time off streaming for a while, and then but on the 19th of December, I'm running a community showdown between Team Reality Based and Team Video Tasties, and I'm hoping, Mephisto, you can join Team Reality Based for that. It should be
need
good.
to save them from themselves.
Well, and also the prize is going to be a USB microphone. That's going to be the prize to win it. And obviously, I'll be sending that to Ryan if your team wins.
Have to win it, and then you'll send it to Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. So, and thank you very much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. Cheers.
Fisty, what do you got coming up?
You know, it's been pretty low-key on the stream front lately, but we are getting back into it. I primarily do a lot of cooking content on Twitch. My handle is just lil_fisticuffer. So if you want to see me, help teach people about cooking, have fun, learn about cooking myself, along with attempting to learn about cocktails, which is kind of a new venture that we're getting into. Thankfully to Mr. Ow My Feelings here, we're learning how to make not terrible cocktails, which is the goal. So yeah, if y'all want to come through, I am going to be streaming tomorrow, Sunday at about 3 p.m. Central Time. So we're going to be doing some a longer baking stream and maybe a couple afternoon cocktails while we're at it. So yeah,
all right, cool. By the way, like, share, subscribe to this channel. Aiming for 2K by the end of the month. I don't know if we're going to get there. Hopefully, I will. Like I said, if not necessarily, it's sort of a veiny kind of, not veiny, but vain kind of thing where I like to have that 2K to start the year off. But most, the thing I want you to do is watch these episodes, watch the reviews. More reviews are coming, and they're not going to be every single day, but I'm working on a lot more to have and release, and I'm not going to schedule anything. As soon as they're done, rendered fully HD on YouTube, they're just going to be out there. It seems like the best thing to do. I don't want to wait for anything. I don't want to wait. And
I was about to do that, but not like that.
As soon as they're ready, they're going to be out there and off and running. Next one, it will be Fifth Element. Fifth Element is next.
Cool. Side note, as a podcast, we had our buddy lilfisticuffer on for the review of that.
So if you want to interact with me, interact with the show at Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, Instagram, same deal, 79. And you can always email the show, the Reel McCoy Podcast at gmail.com. For our guests, their stuff, all of their stuff, of course, whenever they are, it's in the description down below. Please, if you're going to watch Jay, or if you're going to subscribe to Jay, actually watch his stuff. If you don't want to, don't subscribe. Otherwise, it will fuck up his algorithm.
Thank
okay?
you.
I have to say it because I know he's sensitive about it. For me, you can subscribe me and not even watch just until I get to 2K and then start watching. So next week, Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and we will go through all of them throughout this month. Not every single week, but throughout this month. So prepare for that. We're going to go for the long version because we like it long.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes.
Heaven help me.
You can watch the theatrical. Fuck you. Anyway, until next week, boys and girls, good night.
See you.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.